Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Thursday. Welcome to Game Day Live, presented by the Let's Go Devils Podcast Network and the Primetime Radio Studios, along with Crew Brew. My name is Vinnie, Parise, and I am here with my good buddy Shorts Guy. We are happy to get you set for New Jersey Devils hockey as they take on the Winnipeg Wets. Welcome to all fans watching on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch. The Devils are looking for a huge win over the Jets. Shorts Guy, I hope they can contain Aaron Rodgers today.
Yeah. Hey! Big hello to Gilmore 93 Woo, good friend of the podcast, longtime friend Hans. What's going on, dude? Yeah, I'm really kind of hoping that they can contain the I'm sorry, Aaron Rodgers will go out there and blow another something within 30 seconds. But we're going to see our old friend and our good friend Tyler Toffoli tonight, returning back to the Rock for the first time since the trade deadline. So it's probably going to be a night of a little bit of emotion just for a short period of time. And then the Devils take on the Winnipeg Jets, who are, I would say considered a surprisingly quiet favorite to do well in the postseason.
100%. The Jets are one of the best teams in the Western Conference. Tyler Toffoli, Devils legend, is over there now after the trade deadline. Scored some good goals for the Devils. We saw him score a goal when we were together at the Stadium Series. I believe he scored in the game against the Kings too, right? Almost positive he scored that one goal in that game. And good player for the Devils. And it's going to be interesting to see how he's able to help the Jets. I had this conversation with my Bar Down co-host Frank Mueller yesterday. We both kind of agreed that the Jets probably wouldn't finish any better or any worse based on their trade for Tyler Toffoli. But we both agreed he would absolutely, positively, possibly help them in the postseason, where he has been a great scorer in his career, been a part of a couple deep runs. He's been to the Stanley Cup final with Montreal. He obviously won the Stanley Cup with the Los Angeles Kings. So, good for him returning to the Rock. This Jets team, though, like you mentioned, they're sneaky good.
Yeah. I mean, they're sneaky good, and they've got one of the best goalies in the league, one of the best American goalies. That's out there and probably a shoo-in to be our starter for the Olympics next year, or 2 years from now, 26, I think it is. So they've got the good goaltending. They've got the good, they've got good scoring. They've got Devils legend Miller on the back line. I just blanked on his first name. Colin Miller. Devils defensive legend Colin Miller. They were a good team before the trade deadline. I think Tyler Toffoli definitely makes them better. They did beat the Rangers with Rangers legend Matt Rempe returning to the lineup. I
think we might have lost Shorts Guy for a second. We'll wait to see if he's able to reconnect. He was talking about how the Rangers lost to the Winnipeg Jets without Rangers legend Matt Rempe. He obviously served his 4-game suspension for hitting Jonas Siegenthaler in the head. And Shorts Guy, it appears you're back, but I was kind of covering for you. Rangers legend Matt Rempe, you could continue.
Yeah, and I say that sarcastically just because the kid's a jerk. And the Rangers absolutely love him. But I believe he was back in the lineup for that Jets game, if I'm not mistaken, because I know they lost to them. And he
talked to the media about how he's sorry and he doesn't mean to hurt people. Dude, you literally waved to the bench after you did it. You went like this to the Devils, but
whatever.
Shut up.
Anyway, enough of that jerk. So the Jets did beat the Rangers, so they are a very good team. We have not yet done well against the Rangers, so the Devils have some tough sledding tonight. But we do have Jake the Snake Allen in net. I'm hoping he's starting tonight. I would assume so. He's shown a lot of reason to be the starter for right now and to kind of maybe make a run. If the Devils can beat Winnipeg, that's a huge step. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. And so what did you take? Obviously, beating Winnipeg gives you positive vibes because they were able to get a win over the Pittsburgh Penguins in their most recent game. What did you like from that game against the Penguins? It kind of seemed like that was a game where the Devils played like we thought they would all season long.
Yeah, with a little bit of a caveat that, we were playing a team that was, on a terrible slide, but we also tend to play down against those teams. But historically, the Devils have done very well against Pittsburgh at home. So there was a lot of pluses and minuses going into that game. I thought the Devils, they did very well. They did what they had to do. They got scoring. We had Jake Allen with an incredible save against Sidney Crosby. Probably I would say for save of the year, at least a candidate for save of the year. Of which we'll have two Devils goaltenders, even though Vitek is a Shark at this point. He was a Devil when he made his massive glove save. I think that was against Blackhawks here. So the Devils just did what they had to do. And we got some scoring from our top guys. We got Timo on the board again. It was an all-around good game. So I'm kind of hoping that, every time the Devils do well, we always have this hope afterwards. And then it feels like it gets dashed very quickly. It happened against Dallas. We're like, oh, who the hell is this team? This is who we want. And then they go and lose to both the Coyotes and the Knights. It's sort of the opposite of what we need, like a 3 wins, 1 loss type of structure going forward. And now it's like 1 win, 2, 3 losses, and then 1 win, 2, 3 losses. So they've got to start to string some wins together because they're going to need to do that. If for some reason they make the playoffs, they've got to be able to string wins together, 2, 3, 4 in a row. Or at least 2 in a row, and be comfortable with that.
But you do feel confident, or not feel confident. You're assuming you'll feel really good about the future, if not necessarily guaranteeing they make the playoffs or anything like that. But beating the Jets tonight would be big in your mind, or it kind of seems like that is the case. Like you're not beyond thinking they could make a run.
I think beating the Jets would be a great thing tonight. It would be a great test for this team. It would show this team that they are capable of doing well against a good team because let's face it, if we do make the playoffs, we're going to be playing a very strong team in that first round, in that wild card round. So proving to themselves that they can beat a team like Winnipeg, who is a top team in the league. Like I said, we did it against Dallas. If they could do it tonight against Winnipeg, maybe take that going into Saturday against Ottawa and then Sunday against the Islanders, a back-to-back again. That's a winnable back-to-back. That's an absolutely winnable 2-game winnable back-to-back. But again, we know our history on the back-to-back. So let's worry about that when we get there Saturday. But I think it's all positive if they can win tonight against the Jets. What's your feelings on that?
Well, I mean, until a team in the Eastern Conference wins and wins and wins and puts themselves, in a spot where they kind of seal up that 8th spot, I'm going to continue to believe because I've said Detroit, Washington, the Islanders, Penguins, Devils, Sabres, I think that's all of them, all are a 3 or 4 or 5 game winning streak away from being in a playoff spot. And, you kind of couple below that, you start to see Montreal, Ottawa, Columbus, those teams are out. But like the 6 I named, those are the ones, if you go on a run, you're in a playoff spot. And the Devils are absolutely part of that mix. It's kind of crazy that they played as bad as they have. And, they're still in striking distance. That does make me feel good about things. But I'll worry about the weekend if they get a win against the Jets. I mean, you can even, if they lose to the Jets and still find themselves 6 point out, I'll be stunned. But at the same time, like that's the kind of stuff that's been happening all season long. But I think beating the Jets, it does more than just get you 2 points. It's back-to-back wins against teams that, even though the Penguins aren't in the playoffs, they still have Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin and guys who are respected. It's an organization that has been winners with their current core. Same thing with Winnipeg. Winnipeg hasn't won the Stanley Cup with their core, but they've been pretty much in the mix every single year except one. So, I don't know. I do think this would be a quality win, getting a dub over Hellebuck and the boys up there in Winnipeg, especially after this big win against Pittsburgh. I will feel good if they win for sure.
Yeah. And looking at the schedule going forward, I mean, let's, not to look beyond this game. We have 13 games, including this game tonight. And 6 of those 13 are against Metro Division opponents. That's 12 points against Metro Division teams. Yeah. You know what? And that's the hell of the season right now. and we've said what, I don't know how many weeks in a row for how many game day lives in a row. We said, man, we're 4 points out, we're 6 points out, we're 4 points out, we're 6 points out. We've never really gotten much deeper than that. Now, having said that, watch tonight, we just start to sink like a stone because I said that. But barring that, I mean, we're right there. We are absolutely right there. It's just a matter of, do they take the opportunity and do they run with it? You know, we play the Islanders, who are against us on Sunday. We play Buffalo, or Islanders, who are above us on Sunday. We play Buffalo, who's above us on Sunday, and we're 6 points out of that final wild card spot, and then we're 8 points out of the Metro Third. It's like, it's so wild how dismal of a season this is, yet we're like right there. And but it also helps that all the teams above us have decided that they've wanted to take a break on their attempts to make the playoffs too. So that's just the craziness of this wild card run right now.
And that's what we've been saying all along. Like, they haven't gone on this run, but like, they've managed to be a hover around 500 all season long. The Islanders got real hot. Now they're cold again. The Capitals were real hot. They were the story. They were like, oh, maybe they're taking that next step. And then now they've lost. And they're out of the wild card spot. Detroit, same thing. They were on a run 6 in a row, lose 6 in a row. Now they've won a couple. Patrick Kane is single-handedly getting them some points, it seems like, these days. Buffalo goes on a tear, and then they lose a couple in a row.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of crap, really, on the bubble of the Eastern Conference, and it is really annoying to me that the Devils haven't been able to be that team to take advantage, knowing the expectations that came up on them coming into the season.
Yeah. It's going to be a wild end to the season. That's all that I know. It's going to be a wild end to the season, with 4 divisional points in the last 2 games of the season. This is not where we wanted, but I'll tell you what, it's 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 going to be a wild ride to the very end. I can tell you that that much for sure.
It absolutely is. So one player I wanted to focus in on before we get to predictions and closing out the show and all that is Timo Meier. Timo Meier has been an absolute dog over the last handful of games, a little longer than handful of games. Basically, in his last 10, he looked like the healthy, producing Timo Meier that we know he could be. And he sure was asked about it today, and he said, that's the Timo Meier that we know. Like, that's Timo Meier at his best. And I believe him. I firmly believe him. That is what the Devils traded for. You don't just at 26 years old all of a sudden start to stink. It's not like the Devils signed a guy that's 31 in free agency and he's like not living up to expectations. They traded for a guy entering his prime who's been one of the best power forwards in the NHL for the last handful of years, and now he's really starting to look like it. He tipped that Luke Hughes puck. Now he's over 20 goals. Then he scored one a couple periods later, and he's got 21 now all of a sudden on the season. With a really hot run, he could inch towards 30 goals, which would be remarkable with how abysmal he was in the first half in terms of production. I don't know his injury status when he was playing. I know when he was out, and when he was playing, you're expected to produce. If you're healthy enough to be in the lineup, people are going to assume that you're good to go. That's not the case always. We saw it with Meier. We might be seeing it with Jack Hughes, but it's been good for him. I'm curious to know your evaluation of Meier, though.
He, obviously not producing like we had hoped, but there's been a definite difference in his play since the coaching change. And like you said, he's gone on a tear. And the last game, he scored. I think it was instantly the first game after the coaching change he had the hat trick, and then he almost had a fourth at the end. So it seems to be he has benefited from the coaching change. I mean, it seems to be from what Green said about the last game, Alexander Holtz is going to be getting a little bit more time as well. And then he scores last game on Tuesday. But Timo Meier just seems to be playing very well since his coaching change. And this is, you're right, it's a player of his skill set and his age doesn't just forget how to play. And unless you've played the sport, you don't really understand that you just sometimes go through those slump periods. Everyone does it. Everyone has it. And this maybe earlier in the season, it's that was his slump, and he's got like you said, he's got 21 goals now. He's got 13 games. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for him to get 9 goals over the last 13 games. It's altogether possible. It's going to be difficult, but it's altogether possible. You string a goal here, a 2-goal game there, another goal game here. It's possible, man. It's just absolutely possible. And then everyone will, hopefully be back on to the Timo Meier train.
Absolutely. I think even reaching the 25 point after where he was in the first half of the season, you could go into the summer feeling good about yourself, knowing you'll be healthy, hopefully coming into next year. Maybe next year the Devils have a little bit better of luck with health. So I think it's impossible to be as healthy year over year as they were last year. And I also think it's as possible to be as unhealthy as they are this year, year over year. There's going to be some kind of happy medium in between. And that's what I'm hoping for with Timo Meier, because he is a really, really good player. I still think every player at their best, Timo Meier's the third best forward on the Devils. I only would take, and I know Bratt's amazing, and he's not going to end up leading the team in scoring. Hughes is going to pass him, but he's really, really good. He's going to give you 70 points every single year. Meier's 70 points every year, though, seem to be a little bit different, though. There's goals, there's net front presence, there's, Jesper Bratt, he gets a lot of his flowers on the power play, which you need that. You need a guy like Bratt. I'm not poo-pooing Bratt. I think I just would take Meier third overall in a Devils forward draft.
Yeah, and aside from the goal-scoring ability that he has, there's the off-the-puck play that he's willing to go to the dirty areas of the rink to fight for the puck, to set up a guy like Bratt, to set up a guy like Jack, to set up a guy like Nico, that may not be willing to go to those corners, may not be willing for those scrums, but he's willing to go there and take the assist, or even potentially be the pass before the pass that sets up a goal. So that's where I think a lot of his value also comes too, is the off the off the puck stuff, the setup passes, the scrums in the corner, stuff like that.
Absolutely. A lot of good star centers in the league have really good wingers along with them. Like, I'm not sure Timo Meier's Mikko Rantanen. In fact, I know he's not. Rantanen might go to the Hall of Fame. But I think of like him as like a big power forward. He finds pucks for Nathan MacKinnon. He goes to the front of the net. He can make plays as well using his incredible skill. Timo Meier could be a dire version of Rantanen, and Jack Hughes can probably get pretty close to the pinnacle of Nathan MacKinnon, maybe a tick below. I mean, I think that's like my best comparison that I could come up with right now in terms of a top line being driven by like a high flying power forward and a super elite center. And I'm not sure Jack and Meier will be paired up over the years. We'll see. Meier works well with Hischier too. I think there's all sorts of different options, but having this type of depth with forwards is going to be a key to the Devils having a bounce back season next year, I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, you definitely need that depth in forwards. So, you can have your top 6. They'll go out there. They can, almost be interchangeable in a sense. And then you want a guy like him that's going to go out and be able to do all that extra stuff, and then benefit too. Like if he's out there with a Jack, they may want to double up on Jack in order to make sure he doesn't score, and then that leaves someone as skilled as Timo Meier open, for scoring opportunities, or even Nico Hischier, who's not the biggest guy in the world. Timo can also play that protector role as well.
Absolutely, and like you said, away from the puck, the dude is just a bulldozer. Just an absolute star when it comes to playing away from the puck. Actually, I called him Diet Mikko Rantanen, like super, super Diet Ovechkin. Just pump out goals and just be a menace out there when it comes to hitting. How many times did Ovechkin lead the Capitals in hits and goals? Again, Ovechkin is a top 10 player of all time. Timo Meier's not even top 100. I'm not comparing them in terms of like their status, just their style of play.
Style, though. Style. You can
very similar styles.
Yeah, you can definitely compare style, because that was one of the big things with that always amazed me with Ovechkin when he first came in. It was like, wow, he's such a talented scorer, but they're letting him just annihilate people with his body like that. And he did it, and he was super durable. I don't think he missed games for injury up until a season or two ago.
Yeah,
and which is amazing because he was not afraid to use his body, but that just shows his strength as well.
absolutely. Timo Meyer a little less lucky with the injuries. Hopefully next
Mhm.
year, tad bit more consistency with his play in the first half of the season. But I mean, that's the type of guy you expect to explode in the playoffs. That style translates to the playoffs better than most other styles. So clearly, I'm excited about Timo Meyer. We've been talking about him for a while. I want people in the chat right now to start throwing in their predictions before Shorts Guy and I get to our predictions, though. While people are loading them in the chat, I'm a little thirsty.
Are you thirsty?
I'm a little thirsty.
Huh. What could you have at 4:30 in the afternoon in Chicago? What's
It's
something
five
you should
o'clock
have?
somewhere, but not here.
No, it's 5:30 here. That's why I'm having a beverage. But then again, who says it has to be 5 o'clock?
I live on New Jersey time essentially. When you
Boom. So
guys
you
text what time we're doing the show, our group chat, I translate everything to New Jersey time. I
so
basically
you,
live on New Jersey's clock here in Illinois.
so then you should be having a Jersey beer.
Jersey beer. Well, what do you recommend?
It's
I'm
red.
thirsty, Shorts Guy.
I know. I think you should
Red?
have Yeah, I think you should have an Ann Crew brew.
And Crew Brew. Join our crew today and drink and Crew Brew, where we make winning memories together, one crew at a time. Drink and Crew Brew, people. I'm telling you, it's delicious. I have a couple packs coming my way in April, and I'm super, super stoked about it.
Nice.
You go to joinourcrew.com. Go to joinourcrew.com, please. Go there. Sign up for the newsletters. The newsletters in the past have told people where we're tailgating for the Stadium Series, where we're moving our tailgate at the Stadium Series because we got kicked out of our original lot, where Shorts Guy, Sam, Scotty, Beer Baron, where they were hosting with Ken Danico outside of the T-Mobile Arena. All these things that go on with the cool things that we do as a podcast. You can get information on them just by signing up to joinourcrew.com. Do it, do it, do it. Drink and Crew Brew.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Drink Ann Crew brew. Go to joinourcrew.com because I know we're going to be. We had a hell of a time traveling, and I know we're going to be doing it again soon. So we'll have to do another big hockey trip, and you're going to have to join us the next time, there, Vinny.
Absolutely. I very much would like to. I'm all in. Shorts Guy, before you give your prediction, let's read a couple, eh?
Let's do it.
Dubs says 4-2 Devils. Timo Meyer with the game-winning goal. All this Timo Meyer chat, it's got the people going. Beachmaster says 5-3 Devils. Joseph says 5-0 Devils. Brooke says 4-2 Devils. Selecta Boy says 4-3 Devils. Ramona Rice says 3-2 Devils. Michael says I'm 3-0 picking against the Devils this year. Sorry, 0-3. Jets 4, Devils 1. Michael, it's baseball season. You're out. You're out. You're out.
But that's your typical hockey superstitious person.
Isn't that unreal? Paul says 3-2 Devils. Shorts Guy, what do you think is going to happen in tonight's game between the New Jersey Devils and the Winnipeg Wets?
All right. So, it's going to be tough. So they just played against the Rangers the other night. I'm assuming they had Hellebuck starting that game. I'm curious if we'll see Hellebuck, if we'll see their backup. I don't even know who in the world it is. But thinking back to what we did against Dallas, putting 6 up against Dallas, chasing Ottinger out of the net quickly, and then just putting pucks past by our old friend Scott Wedgwood to complete the 6-2 victory. I don't think we'll get to 6, but I do think we'll give up 2. And I think that we'll see a final score in this team in this game 4-2. And I froze just as I said 4-2. I said 4-2.
4-2?
Said 4-2, like a couple other people in the chat, like Brooke Amanda suggesting, a couple other people suggesting 4-2. So Yeah, I'm going to go with that scoreline.
It actually looks like the Devils are facing Laurent Brossoit.
Hmm. Yeah, I kind of figured we wouldn't see. Unfortunately, we've become, and I think this has to be a strategy going forward for the rest of the season. We've become the team that backups get some reps against. We have to start taking advantage of that.
100%. Problem? Brossoit hasn't given up a goal since March 3rd.
How many games has he
Bad
played
news.
since
That's the
March 3rd?
bad. That's the bad
Okay.
news.
Okay.
The good news is that's only 6 periods worth of time, 2 games. Against the Seattle Kraken, a 3-0 victory on March 8th, and against the Anaheim Ducks, a 6-0 win. So, Hellebuck
Well,
starts a lot.
he does, but you know what? That also shows to how well Brissois can play to not get many reps, but still go in and pitch a shutout. So that's
100%.
a goalie with a good mindset right there. But he did the job that he was supposed to do against the Ducks, which we should have done and we couldn't do, and the Seattle Kraken team, which can be pretty pesky.
Yes, it actually looks like the last time Brossoit lost a game was February 8th, but he's only made 4 starts since then. They play Hellebuck a lot.
Yeah,
They play Hellebuck a lot. There's
and
no
it's a
doubt
good
they
team
play
in
him a
front of
lot.
them too. It's. I'll tell
100%.
you, when you're playing with a good team in front of you, things are much easier for you in net.
Yep, absolutely. You know, it's funny, that loss on February 8th, 4-1 to the Philadelphia Flyers, who the Devils have beaten a handful of times this year.
Okay.
Before that, January 24th, they lost 1-0 to the Leafs. Brossoit played out of his mind. He made 29 saves on 30 shots, but the Jets didn't score a goal.
Wow. Yeah,
Very
Jake
funny.
Allen. If Jake Allen plays well and our scoring does what we know our scoring can do, it should be a good game for us.
Absolutely. I do have a Sam Wu prediction. He believes the
Mm-hmm.
Devils are going to win 3-1. 3-1 for Sam Wu. I am going to pick against the Winnipeg Jets with Brossoit. You know, Brossoit's due for a stinker. He's due for an absolute stinky, stinky, stinky game. I believe Jake the Snake will only allow 1,
Ooh.
and the Devils are going to win 5-1. Just
Okay.
absolute stinker for
All right.
Brossoit.
By the way, I do have to point out on Tuesday, I did say 5-2.
You got it right?
I said 5-2.
Let's go.
So there were a couple other people that said 5-2 in the chat as well. So it may be the first one all season.
That is Shorts guy. Mad props. Here's your flowers. Let's go. Let's go. That's why we do this, to get right once a year. I hope everybody enjoyed today's show. The New Jersey Devils are getting set to take on the Winnipeg Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Go to joinourcrew.com. Sign up, drink and crew brew. Follow the New Jersey Devils. Watch the Devils post-game show, Devils After Dark, to recap the game that was with Scotty of Sirius XM, Liquid Metal, and the great Sam Woo Dog. Until next time, as he always says, no matter what, let's go Devils.